Hey, True Believers, England here with another, oh no, it's not a comic book origin. It's a Really That Bad this time, where I am looking at the story of Snowflame. And if you haven't heard of this young gentleman, he is very special. Created by Steve Englehart and Cary Bates. Wow. In 1988, by the way. This is the dude that gets all of his powers from taking cocaine. Okay? That's his whole thing. That's the shtick. He's been in one book. So this could be a comic book origins, but it's not. It's a, is this really that bad? And dude, I could tell from a mile away, yeah, this is going to be bad. I have a feeling. I don't know, but it's written by Steve Englehart. You know, okay, he's done some things, right? So, by all means, let's check this thing out. Now, this was a commissioned video by Christy Miller. Thank you very much. She went over to Ko-Fi. Links in the description below. Picked from any of these categories that you're going to see passing by here. And that's what I do. As a matter of fact, if you want, you could just go, like, donate, too. It doesn't have to be this. But anyway, you just go, you pick out your category, you pick out your topic, any team, any hero, any storyline, whatever you want, I'll do a video on it. One of the reasons is because YouTube is choking the life out of I Love Comics, and that's why I also started Old Man Comics. Once again, link is in the description below. So go on over there and subscribe and make sure you're ringing the bell on Old Man Comics, because that's what YouTube uses nowadays. They really don't care about the whole subscriber thing. It's all about the algorithm. It's all about the the notification. So make sure you're doing that. And, wow, that's all the shilling I have. So, without further ado, let's get into New Guardians number 2, the first appearance of Snowflame. And, as always, we look at the cover first. We've got the team in the background, a whole bunch of bodies in the front. I think if it was juxtaposed, we would be doing better, like if they were walking through maybe a field of dead bodies as the snow was hitting them. Considering it's called Jungle Snow and we know what Snowflame is all about, are they all high off their butts on cocaine right now? That's actually, I think that's a good question. I need this answered. It probably won't be. So the book opens and we see our heroes standing looking at somebody we see in silhouette, just their leg, and they're in the jungle, so I'm assuming it's Colombia. And the words say, "Life is hard and then you die." I don't know where I first read those words of inspiration, but they've been coming to mind ever since my bold amigos and I arrived here in the snake-infested jungles off the coast of Colombia. Wait a second. Okay. I guess it could be off. I've never referred to, like, Orlando as off the coast of Florida. Like, usually if you're off the coast, you're, you know, in the ocean. I don't know. Okay. I guess an island off the coast, but a jungle off the coast. Like, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it sounds like, okay, there's a whole bunch of trees in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it's just me. The 6 of us, we call ourselves the New Guardians. We were chosen, you see. Chosen by a cosmic pair of higher powers to ensure mankind's survival throughout the next millennium. What, this series, like, lasted maybe 3 issues. I know it was more. Just it's exaggeration to make a point. Okay, just go with it. But at that moment, we may have our hands full just surviving the day. And then we get the title, Blow in the Wind. Okay, you know what? We're being punked. There's no way they didn't know what they were doing. Seriously, this is ridiculous. This book was made on a dare. This has to all be on purpose. But ladies and gentlemen, we get the first appearance of Snowflame in one of the worst panels I've ever seen. So he's saying, "First freak who comes any closer is a dead freak," which the eye immediately goes down, where he's saying, "Freaky calling us freaks, dilated pupils, raised blood pressure, speeding respiration, demand be higher than a kite." Yeah, that's how they're drawing for the Islander, or writing for the Islander girl. It's not racist anyway. But in all honesty, you're not supposed to go there because he's not done. You're supposed to go across to the other side of the page and say, "Jesus, you people are strange. Last chance. Turn around and take your freak show back on the road." And then we have somebody who looks like, is that Woodrow? And he's saying, "His jungle," he says, "no meat has any claim to the green. One good electromagnetic jolt just might bring him back to Earth." The man has obviously never heard of the New Guardians. Nobody heard of the New Guardians. Millennium was not exactly a huge seller back then, gang. Then it is time someone expanded his knowledge base. He is mine, please. That might actually be the most polite anyone's ever announced an ass whooping in a comic book before. Just saying. But Snowflame has other ideas, so when little electric robot man runs at him, he says, "Challenge accepted," and punches him in the face. "I am Snowflame. Every cell of my being burns with white-hot ecstasy. Cocaine is my god." I think I found the title of the video. Snowflame, cocaine is his god. That should be demonetized right away. And I am the human instrument of its will. Oh my goodness gracious, aren't we all? I know I've been using these emoticons less and less these days, and I just wanted to add on a little bit of something here, and that's why I pulled it away there. Usually I do a lot of talking like, oh, and on this page they do this, and on this page I do that, and that might happen in a moment, but the dialogue in this book is so incredibly horrible, I just cannot resist reading it out loud. It has to be read out loud. I think it's the law. It's out of my hands. So after taking a hit from Snowflame, Robot Man looks at him and says, "I can take the heat, Snowflame. They call me Ram." I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, sir. "And you could take this any way you like it." A blow like that would have sent an ordinary man reeling. But I am no ordinary man, nor am I. I don't get it, Ram. You do this all the time. Okay, every time I say I've got a car, you guys say you have a better car. I say I could take a punch, you can say I could take a punch better. You got a problem, Ram. Just be you. It's okay to be you, Ram. So Snow and Ram continue their fight together, and Snowflame says, "You see before you a man on fire, a man who craves any excuse to burn brighter, any excuse." And showing the excellent teamwork of the new Guardians, everybody else just stands around talking about the fight. Seriously. Oh, his eyes are glazing over. He's going to do that computer thing where he becomes an absolute fighter and he throws a whole bunch of punches really, really fast. But we're just going to stand here and watch. They're literally just standing there and talking about it. Way to go, team. Not like you may need some help or anything. Snowflame declares that every instance that he makes him angrier or hits him more, he just makes his high a little bit better and he becomes stronger. So he knocks the heck out of Ram there, and the team just stands there and watches, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's got the cocaine. He's going to spread it all over the place. It's all over the Andes. And not to mention my native Peru," the Islander girl says. And so Snowflame says, "Hey, yo, I never travel the jungle alone," and men pop up, point guns at the new Guardians, and just shoot them down. And that's the end of the book, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I wish. This is bad, guys. The team has literally just stood there and did nothing throughout this entire encounter. And then, of course, this guy at the bottom here, he's got to pontificate. So let's go through it here. What words of wisdom do you have for us here? "Death. How often over the course of a lifetime does one entertain colorful fantasies of a swift and noble demise? And how often, I wonder, does the reality turn out to be slow and an agonizing, maybe I could read that, a slow and agonizing nightmare. Life is hard, and then you die." Now, see, it would be bad enough if the book just ended there, but it continues. I'm sorry, guys. We got more pages. Alrighty, well, this is a very awkward transition. We have a doctor here, and he's like, "The results of the autopsy were conclusive. The monster died of AIDS." "But doctor, we all tested negative. We're free from the virus, no?"
"Man, everybody got AIDS and shit."
And then the doctor says, "Eglantine, you should have just gone at issue number 1, because I'm going to tell you something that's even more incredible than a guy who is who gets his power from cocaine." And he says, "This hemogoblin, as you call him, could have picked up the virus from any of his other victims. Unfortunately, the results of the blood tests we gave the 3 of you are anything but conclusive. This is one instance when no news isn't necessarily good news." Are you telling me there was a character called the Hemogoblin who had AIDS that fought? Oh my gosh, this could be the best comic book series ever known to man. Too soon to know for certain, but this creature who bit you was highly contagious, perhaps due to his accelerated metabolism. And even though AIDS is caused by a retrovirus that mutates much faster than the flu virus, on average, there is a 2-month window of ineffectivity before a newly exposed person becomes seropositive. For me, this is all dreary deja vu, but for their sake, you'd best continue. For all the time being, at least, all of you could do is come in once a week for an ELISA test. If you were infected with HIV, and by the way, it tells us it's a human immunodeficiency virus. I used to be able to say that. It will be only a matter of time before a measurable antibody response shows up on the test. Only a matter of time. I'm not going to try this, guys. Except for they say right here, only a matter of time, Damon says. Time. Now I sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Precious little time, dot, maybe all we got left. Really, Jesus Lord, guys, how bad are you going to be in the writing? In the event any of you do contract the disease, you must not despair. In addition to AZT, the FDA has several other promising drugs in the pipeline. There's new research being done with natural proteins like... What are we talking about here, guys? Seriously, this is a superhero comic book. Come on, man. We have we have literally interrupted this comic book for an AIDS awareness page. I swear to gosh, anybody who talks about how there was never any of this crap in the 80s and 90s, I give you the New Guardians. Holy Toledo. Wow. Okay, let's move on. This is great freaking stuff. This is incredible. I love this book. This is the greatest book ever known to man right now. In my eyes, this is better than The Dark Knight. It really is. Okay, I just realized I'm on page 7 of a 22-page comic, and we're at the 11-minute mark, so I've got to hurry it along here. Sorry, gang. And seeing that the heroes are visibly shaken by the news that he's just given them, and we see one is actually saying, how are we going to live with this? The doctor decides to ease the tension in the room by saying, any woman who carries the virus does run a strong risk of passing it on to any future children. High five! So they all collectively decide they need to get revenge on the person who sent the hemogoblin after them. And, well, as they enter the airport, they see a guy from the CIA, and they're like, oh my gosh, why is the CIA interested in us? And they say, well, we don't want a whole bunch of aliens, meaning foreigners, to cause an international incident. And Woodrow's like, you're the alien to me, meat. So the CIA guy tells them that they've got to stay in the country because the person they think is the bad guy is attached to the UN, and if they go and try to beat him up or do whatever they want to do there, they're going to start an international incident. Instead, he offers them a job, and that's when we find out that this whole scene was a flashback to how they got to face down Snowflame in the first place. And after we find that out, we jump right back to the scene we started off with, where everybody's about to be shot, but we find out that they were preparing to get shot rather than doing anything about it and maybe even actually helping their friend. And the next jump cut, I guess, is in the future. All the soldiers that just shot him down are shoveling in a trench, and the Guardians appear, and they're like, oh my gosh, they rose from the dead. And this one, I guess she's Colombian, from Peru, she says, no, we're not back from the dead, we're just better than you. And she says, we got powers, and she buries him under a bunch of rock. It really is clunky the way they're telling this story. There seems to be no transition. There's no characterization whatsoever. The characters aren't doing anything. There's no... I thought Steve Englehart was supposed to be somebody. I'm sorry, bro. But from this... yeah, not good. Not good, man. Not good. This is amazing. This is a page where everybody's talking, but nobody's saying anything. So we're not really getting any characterization, except for this guy's arrogant and Ram is embarrassed he got his butt kicked. And there's something else they do, like with this page. Everybody, once again, there's no characterization. Everybody says something, but you could switch all the word bubbles and it would make no difference. You can't tell who's talking except for there's a picture of them right there. And we finally get to see Snowflame again, as obviously he's living a life of debauchery. He's got the girls, the guys with the guns are all there. You see a couple of them doing some cocaine, and then they get a big explosion. He's like, hey, where are the guards? And once again, the team each get their own line of dialogue, but you could flip it around. There's nothing saying who is who. And they're like, you can't take on all 6 of us, and Snowflame just kind of smiles at them. They tell him to give up, but Snowflame looks at him and says, give up? Give up the ultimate exhilaration, the divine rapture, the euphoria of electricity that now surges through every molecule of my body? Give up? I would sooner choke on the soil from your boots, Guardian. And he just shoves an entire pile of cocaine into his face. Ladies and gentlemen, a supervillain of the 1980s. They yell, stop him before he ignites. Harbinger moves. Too late. Ram says, too bad, and runs towards Snowflame. May the fire burn everlasting. Now I am a true god. And I think you actually see cocaine coming out of his underarm here and on his arms and everything. That's cocaine energy, guys, not like electricity. Remember, kids, according to DC Comics, you do a lot of cocaine, you get super strength. But instead of engaging in combat himself, he sends all of his followers after him, saying that they're going to take away your cocaine if they stop us, so you got to get them. One of them just touches the Floronic man, and he kind of goes down. Oh my gosh, I don't feel so good. And while Ram once again attacks Snowflame, they find out that what happened was the Floronic man absorbed the cocaine out of the guy's system. And the Peruvian lady's like, hey, I got an idea. I could siphon this out of your body back into the ground, so why don't you suck all the cocaine out of everybody's bodies, and then I'll suck the cocaine out of yours. And while those two are sucking each other off, you got Harbinger and the Islander girl disarming all the henchmen, while Ram is like, okay, Snowflame, I'll kick your butt this time, even though you're more powerful than me now. And he's like, holy Toledo, dude, don't you notice all this heat coming off of with the cocaine powers and all? He says, yeah, I'll take care of that. And he kind of throws both of them into the water. And so they do fight in the water for like one panel, and then Ram, for some reason, pulls them out of the water. Wasn't it your master plan to put the flames out in the water? I don't get it. And he says, you're finished. And Snowflame's like, not just yet. And still you burn? Yeah, you pulled him out before he... what a dumbass. And he's like, fool warrior, my fire cannot be extinguished. And Ram's like, then may you forever burn in hell. And apparently they're leaping towards something, and there's a guy in a Speedo going, hey, you're a flame, master. Keep away from there, anywhere but there, anywhere but... And I guess they're flying to something important that we can't see just yet. And we find out they were flying towards a chemical shed, and it blows up, and the magician guy's knocked out, and we see Ram's okay, and he's like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm gonna be fine. I can't say the same for my cape because it's covered in all this white dust. That's cocaine, dude. It's cocaine. But everybody kind of giggles at that, and Harbinger's like, how can any of you laugh and make light of our situation? Don't you realize our divine mission has been aborted before it has begun? Every party has a pooper. That's why we invited you, Harbinger. And Harbinger brings up the fact that, hey, 3 of us may have AIDS, and you guys are going to have to live without us, and I don't know which one of us has it worse.
Everyone has AIDS!
And as Harbinger flies off, all of Snowflame's followers come to the new Guardians saying, thank you for freeing us. You are our new gods. And it looks like Ram is kind of contemplating this, like it's a good idea. And the book closes on the pontificating wizard who says, I do not know if my future is to be measured in months, years, or decades. I tell you something, life is hard.
And so this is the end of our story. And everyone is dead from AIDS.
Holy crap, this crap is bad. I mean, it's bad. It's not even so bad it's good. It's like so bad it's really, really bad. This thing is, even if you take away the fact that there's a character named Snowflame yelling, cocaine is my god, the rest of the writing is horrible. There's no characterization. The team does nothing throughout the entire comic book. There is no reason for this book to exist except because so we have something as ridiculous as Snowflame to talk about. Honestly, incredible, man. This is a pile of suck. It really is. Anyway, there you go, gang. Thank you very much to Christy Miller for commissioning this. This was a trip. It seriously is. And yes, you can hear my bird flying around. Please click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That's what YouTube cares about. If you haven't done it already, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon and drop $1 in the till. And if you want, you can even commission a video just like Christy did here. We got a lot of categories. You can pick any subject. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers out there, thank you very, very much for watching.